interior up, and we actually had one of the staff members at least who used to work, I think there's two I can remember, that used to work at Western Nights. How many staff here that worked in Western Nights? One, two. Look at them, beautiful girls they are, still maintaining the beauty. But all the girls had to be beautiful to work at Regent Theatres, and I won't tell you how he selected them. But they got dressed up as cowgirls and everything like that. Now the promotion was supposed to go for 3 months, but it went for a year at capacity houses, and then we actually finished it up when we ran out of westerns. There were no more westerns to show. Marvellous promotion. Now the next style will, look at those legs. They were very brave girls showing those legs. Now there's one or two people in this photo. Now where are you, Amy? Over there. Anyone else in the theatre? There she is. One of the girls from the 40s. Lovely to have you here tonight, Amy. And we had staff that joined the theatres, and they worked for us for years and years and years. And there's one or two here that have worked until we ran out of the requirement of staff. I think they'd have still been here. In 1957, we had 13 permanent staff, the manager, the assistant manager, 4 operators, 3 permanent cashiers, 3 cleaners, 2 utility men, and 15 casual cashiers, ushers and usherettes to operate the theatres, and they divided their time between the Regent and the Capitol. Now the next slide is a photo of Hoyt's Drive-In Theatre, and that was located on the corner of Geary and Hillview Roads there, where the Baptist Church is now. It was built in 1966, and it was the first drive-in to be built in Australia after the advent of TV. Such was the popularity of drive-ins at the time, and was the largest ever built in any country city. I think from memory it had 628 cars, which could put quite a few people in it. It was also the best built in Australia, requiring minimal maintenance. From the time I was there for 5 years, we used 1 drum tar on 11 acres of surface, so it was really well built, and was built to be maintenance free. There's very little development in the area at the time. One house on the top of Hillview Road, which was owned by Bob Hyman. There was the garage on the corner of Robert Street and Geary Road. And over the railway line was Rogers Brickworks, which was where Coaldale is now. And I remember the first day we were out there, we got the screen going on, and here's Rogers Brickworks with all these fires going there, drawing everybody's eyes, you know. And we had to get him to put some bricks in to stop that, otherwise it would muck the whole thing up. It was so dull, and really it was, that any light would reflect, because there was no other ambient light around the place. I used to call it Siberia in the winter because it was so lonely and cold out there. It did very well until daylight saving was introduced, and of course the screen, or the people faced the screen due west, and daylight saving came in, and so we couldn't start until 8:30, and that kind of mucked up the family trade because it was too late for kids. But during the 2 years that we operated, in the first 2 years, yes, it did very well, particularly in summer. There are at least 2 drivers now operating in New South Wales, one in the Hunter Valley at Head and Breeder, and one in the western suburbs there. They had 2, but one closed just probably a month ago because of the value of real estate. They occupied such an area, and because they've cut them up for housing developments all over the place. Once again, I'd like to thank Grant for the opportunity to be here and trust the new theatre complex will be a roaring success.
Thank you so much, Dick. I've just got a couple of thank yous. I'd like to thank everyone tonight for coming, especially the staff from the past. It's really nice to see you here. I'd like to thank Dan for the projection display downstairs. Maybe an intermission, Dan might be able to tell us a little bit about them. Dick, thank you very much for the great speech, and I really like the photos. I actually remember the Capitol, which... yeah, I am. Val, thank you very much for playing the music tonight, the keyboard. And I'd also like to thank my staff. They are the best staff. And I'd also like to thank Alan Wilson, who no one actually can see because he's in the projection box right up there. He's the guy who's changing the slides, and he'll be doing all our pre-show, plus putting Robin Hood on. So thank you very much, Alan. And now it's on with the show.